A geopolitical shockwave just hit North America, quietly but with earth-shattering force. Canada, the country responsible for pumping 4.3 million barrels of oil per day straight into the veins of the US economy, has just signaled a major change. That's right, Canada is pulling back on its $109 billion oil lifeline to the United States. For decades, this supply has fueled nearly 60% of all US oil imports. Now, that crucial artery is under pressure. The implications? Catastrophic. Donald Trump's reaction? Nothing short of explosive. As the US scrambles to assess the damage, Trump has launched a furious tirade, accusing Canada of economic sabotage and threatening retaliatory action. His words are making headlines, but beneath the political theater lies a deeper crisis. An American energy infrastructure so dependent on Canadian oil that even a slight destruction can send tremors across the entire economy. What sparked the sudden shift in Canadian policy? Why is Trump sounding the alarm with such urgency? And more importantly, what does this mean for everyday people, from consumers at the pump to businesses across the country? Would you consider this a bold play by Canada to assert more control over its resources? Or is it a warning shot about the fragile nature of energy alliances? Before we unpack this high-stakes standoff, be sure to like this video, subscribe, and hit that bell icon for more critical updates from the African web. The roots of this crisis trace back to February 2025 when President Trump announced sweeping tariffs on Canadian imports. On February 1, 2025, he imposed a 25% tariff on most Canadian goods and a 10% levy on energy products, including oil and gas. This move was part of his broader America First trade policy, aiming to curb illegal immigration and drug trafficking, particularly fentanyl, across the US-Canada border. Canada's response was swift and resolute. On March 4, 2025, the Canadian government retaliated by imposing its own 25% tariffs on $30 billion worth of US goods, including products like orange juice, peanut butter, wine, spirits, beer, coffee, appliances, apparel, footwear, motorcycles, cosmetics, and certain paper products. This tit-for-tat escalation set the stage for the current oil supply crisis. With trade relations deteriorating, Canada signaled its intent to leverage its position as a major oil supplier to the US, sending a clear message that economic interdependence cuts both ways. To truly grasp the weight of this moment, we need to understand one key truth. The US is built around Canadian oil, literally. For decades, American refineries, especially those clustered around the Midwest and Gulf Coast, were designed with one product in mind: Canadian heavy crude. This thick, viscous form of oil is vastly different from the lighter grades found in other parts of the world. Refining heavy crude requires specialized equipment and processes, multi-billion-dollar investments that can't just be swapped out overnight. It's like building a factory that only makes diesel engines, then being asked to produce electric motors instead. The change isn't only difficult, it's structurally impossible without years of adaptation. And here's the kicker: the US doesn't produce enough heavy crude of its own. It depends on Canada's oil sands. This dependence means even a small adjustment from Canada, whether political or logistical, can paralyze an entire sector of America's energy infrastructure. So when Canada signals a cutback, it's not just a political statement. It's a direct hit to America's refining lifeline. Naturally, the fallout doesn't stop at oil refineries. The real danger lies in the domino effect that follows. When oil supply tightens, gas prices spike. And in this case, analysts warn we could see increases of 30% to 50% at the pump. That's not just a few extra dollars for gas. For millions of American households already struggling with inflation, that could mean an additional burden of $600 to $1,200 a year just to commute, run errands, or heat their homes. And the ripple effect extends far beyond fuel. Food prices go up because farms and grocery chains rely on transportation. Retail prices rise because shipping containers, warehouses, and local deliveries all depend on affordable fuel. Even basic services like waste management, construction, and utilities will see costs climb. This isn't speculation, it's historical fact. Every oil destruction in the last 50 years, from OPEC's embargo in the 1970s to more recent tensions in the Middle East, has shown how sensitive modern economies are to fuel availability. And unlike past crises, this one is coming from the US' own backyard. Moving further into the crisis, businesses across America are bracing for a direct hit. Major industries, from automotive to logistics to retail, are now staring down ballooning costs that threaten to disrupt their operations and profitability. For the automotive sector, which relies heavily on petroleum-based components and long-haul logistics, this could mean supply chain bottlenecks, delayed production, and higher sticker prices for consumers. Car dealerships may find it harder to move inventory if fuel prices scare buyers away from the market. Logistics firms like FedEx and UPS will feel the pinch almost immediately. Fuel is their second highest operating expense after labor. With diesel prices expected to skyrocket, these companies will be forced to increase their rates, hitting e-commerce platforms like Amazon and Walmart right in the wallet. Retailers, especially those offering free shipping or fast delivery options, will face a hard decision: eat the cost or pass it to consumers. In both cases, consumer confidence takes a blow. And let's not forget small businesses, especially those running fleets of trucks, local delivery services, or energy-intensive operations. For them, this crisis isn't just an inconvenience, it's existential. Transitioning to the next issue, America's own energy systems are frighteningly brittle. While the US likes to project strength in energy independence, the truth is far more complicated. The country's strategic petroleum reserve is limited, highly politicized, and not designed for long-term crisis management. The pipelines that carry crude oil from Canada to US refineries are built with a single purpose: to move oil in one direction. Re-engineering them to bring oil from elsewhere or to reverse flow is a long technical process filled with legal and environmental obstacles. And the markets, they're more reactive than ever. The mere rumor of Canadian supply cuts sent oil futures soaring. Traders capitalize on the uncertainty, pushing prices up even higher. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Perceived instability becomes actual instability, with prices spinning out of control. All this reveals a hard truth: America's energy network is deeply exposed. And when your strongest link, Canada, starts to pull away, everything else starts to wobble. And this brings us to the political crescendo. The oil standoff between Canada and the US has escalated from a trade spat to a full-blown crisis with global consequences. With Canada pulling back on its oil supply and Trump's furious reaction, this is a pivotal moment for both nations. The economic impact on US businesses, consumers, and the broader economy will likely be severe, exposing the fragility of America's energy infrastructure and its reliance on Canadian oil. As this situation develops, the key questions remain. How will the US adapt? Will Canada continue to use its oil as leverage? And how will businesses and consumers handle rising energy costs? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more updates on this ongoing crisis and other global developments.